I seen when I stand in front of Ron. When Ron fought Tank, he was on Tank. He was on him. He had the same attitude. Am I right or wrong? And then he had no fear. He fought him in that.
He definitely was at his best. He trained hard. He knew he was going up against. And he did.
The recent press event for the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch turned wild. Far from what organizers hoped for, things got intense when Tank's coach Calvin Ford walked up to Roach's crew, accusing them of trash-talking Tank during interviews. Ford stepped up aggressively, warning them to respect the fight's seriousness. Lamont Roach, standing with his dad and trainer, Lamont Roach Sr., didn't step back. Roach Sr. fired back, telling Ford to stick to boxing and not words, stressing, "This bout won't be taken lightly like last time." Now, the tension behind the scenes is boiling, building up to a savage face-off.
Now, he's trying to please the fans possibly and take this fight versus Lamont Roach in a rematch. You know, is it even worth it to please the fans who want to love you one minute, hate you the next? They're going to love him this minute, they're going to hate him next minute. Oh, I don't like it. He can fight Lamont Roach, and they're going to say, well, he's supposed to knock Lamont.
Moments later, all hell broke loose. A push turned into a punch as Roach Sr. landed a solid shot on Ford. Security jumped in fast to separate both sides before it exploded further. Tank Davis brushed it off with a sly grin, saying Roach's anger shows fear. They know he's getting knocked out in August. Roach stayed cool and calm, warning that the last fight was just a taste. This time, they're coming to finish it clean. And while fists flew backstage, the real punishment will come under the lights in the ring.
See, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. But even that right hand, that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Tank Davis is still one of boxing's hottest names, and after that wild presser with Roach, all focus is on him. The excitement isn't only for the next match, it's also about what's coming later. Fans are talking non-stop about a possible mega fight between Tank and undefeated Shocker Stevenson to elite American lightweights. But even with all the buzz, nothing's official yet. Talks are in the air, but no deal's been signed, and fans are getting restless, believing this could be one of boxing's all-time classic matchups.
People just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw, you know. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning. Moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating him and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job.
Tank says he's not hanging up the gloves yet. On the Safe Place podcast, he admitted he once thought about quitting this year, but changed his direction. Now, he's rethinking everything, maybe a short break instead of retirement. He wants to recharge and return stronger, showing the world he's not finished chasing glory in the ring.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic game. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on it.
Tank shared, "I truly need to fix myself up." He doesn't plan to retire soon, but wants time to reset his mind, saying he's got more fighters to beat and goals left untouched. His words show strong focus. He's hungry to prove more. No matter the personal storms he's faced, boxing still burns inside him. He's looking to dig deeper, sharpen his style, and chase the big names. When Tank comes back, it won't be just a return, it'll be proof that he's still a top dog in the sport.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense.
Gibbons told World Boxing News that they tried to set up the Tank versus Pacquiao match earlier, but it didn't happen because Tank didn't want to fight at 145 pounds, the weight Manny asked for. But now the script might flip. Pacquiao is going toe-to-toe with Mario Barrios in July, and if he wins, his team wants to go after Tank next, bringing the long-hype clash closer than ever.
Whatever he decides to do, I'm going to support him.
You guys are there?
Yeah.
And it's going to be, again, all three, right? Nothing new, nothing else?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
There might be something else?
Coach Kenny Ellis fired off a strong warning. Tank Davis wasn't off that night. He came in beast mode, trained hard, and gave every ounce in the ring. This wasn't a bad day or accident. Tank knew his rival well and gave it everything. If Roach withstood the savage version of Davis, then this rematch won't be about fixing mistakes, it'll be about absolute punishment. Ellis made it clear this time Tank isn't chasing points. He's aiming to end it brutally and decisively.
They trying to get that fight more of a, like, oh, it's going to be a good fight, but no. Roach is a decent fighter, but Tank on dog him. Tank on dog him.
For sure.
Frank Martin, who was crushed by Tank Davis before, is betting Tank wipes out Roach easily in the rematch. He believes Davis will destroy him without a struggle, and he's not the only one. Others like Ryan Garcia and Rolando Romero are also rooting for Tank. Why? Because a Tank victory saves their image, but if he loses, it exposes them all as vulnerable. The pressure is massive, and fans are watching closely to see if Davis keeps his throne.
Roach is a fucking tremendous fighter, bro. He's a really good fighter, man, dude. He beat Hector Garcia, and then, you know, he took the belt from him, and he came up, you know, and I know he's a lot more durable and stronger at 135, you know.
He's also seen.
Rolando Romero couldn't stay quiet after Roach stunned everyone by stepping up and taking the fight to Tank Davis like no one expected, calm and composed. Roach turned the ring into a war zone and shook one of boxing's biggest stars. But here's where it got wild. Tank suddenly dropped to a knee without throwing a punch first. No knockdown was ruled, and no clear answer was given. If that had counted, the fight might have flipped. This isn't just drama, it's a grudge match now. The rematch is about fairness, and fans are desperate to see it unfold.
What I seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won, and I think the commission does need to do something with that knee, because if they don't, then all of us are going to think we can take a knee anytime we want. You know, they got to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me, you got to do something about other people. You know, rules are rules, right? It's just, you know, I like Tank though, personally, but a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect not to be knocked down, you know.
Frank Martin didn't expect it. Lamont Roach clapped back with sharp, fearless words that changed everything. What seemed like a simple prediction turned into a war of words. As Roach made it clear he's not here to be overlooked or counted out, the tension between them exploded, turning this into a full-blown feud. It's not just skill anymore, it's deeply personal, intense, and filled with emotion. The stakes are sky high, and both fighters are ready to bring the fire in what might be one of boxing's most heated showdowns in recent memory.
Zero. What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't give me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not gonna lie, I have room.
You believe you fought the best Gervonta, or do you think he got some more gears?
100% for a fact. I think he might have some more gears, but I fought the best Gervonta then.
Outside the ropes, opinions keep pouring in. Rapper Gilly D.A. Kid didn't hold back. In a fight preview, he pointed out a major red flag in Tank's corner. Longtime trainer Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis were missing. Someone else led the corner, and Gilly called it a risky move. If it's not broken, don't fix it, he said. That surprise change might have thrown Tank off and affected how he fought. With the rematch coming, fans are watching closely, wondering if the team behind Davis will be back in sync or still scrambling for answers.
Bad night. I look for a tough fight in the next fight, but I still see Gervonta winning. I think Gervonta will win in a little easier this time. But Roach is a heck of a fighter. He's going to give everybody a hard, anybody that fights is going to give a hard time. But I do think that Davis had enough.
The whole story has now gone beyond the ropes. Tank Davis's training squad is under major fire. The last-minute switch in corner leadership during such a massive fight raised big concerns. Fans want to know why Ford and Ellis weren't there, and whether their absence shook Tank mentally and tactically in boxing. The trust between a fighter and his team means everything. It can decide who wins or loses. That sudden change may have rattled Davis at the worst time, breaking his flow. With a second fight ahead, this adds a fresh twist fans can't look away from. What do you think? Does this change Tank's path?